Hi, everyone. This is Ron from POCculture.com. I'm here with Miranda Kwok, who is the creator of The Cleaning Lady on Fox. Miranda, how are you?
Hi, Ron. I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So excited to speak with you. Love this show. My first question is, it's out there. We're 3 episodes in, and it's the highest rated new drama on Fox in years. Has that experience been for you?
Oh, it's been fantastic, obviously. But I mean, what we're so excited about is that, that there's so many people who this show is resonating with and that are tuning in to see that. I think that, Fox and Warner Brothers totally got behind having a show with a Southeast Asian lead at the center of it and an undocumented immigrant at the core of the show. And they recognize that there is a real audience now for diverse voices, different perspectives, stories that we haven't heard before. And I think, by having so many people tune in live on the nights that our episodes premiere is just a huge indication of that. And that itself is a success on so many levels. And that's actually what I'm excited about more than anything.
Absolutely. And that's what excites me too. And I think it's so interesting because it is, in many ways, a very specific personal story, like you said, an undocumented Southeast Asian family. Um, but it seems to really have a broad appeal. And what do you think it is about the show that really appeals to broad audiences, no matter what the background?
Well, I think it's well, it's a very universal story that we're telling. And I think that's the most important thing is that, at the core of it, this is a woman who is fighting to save her son. And that is, a story of so many people, so many immigrants who have made a lot of sacrifices to be here. And, they face so many challenges and so many issues. And what I wanted to do was create this really unexpected, unlikely hero and show that when she's faced with all these obstacles and there's so much that is thrown in her way that she is able to figure out a way to get past it, to find her own path, to find her own voice and not allow herself to be like pushed against a wall or backed into a corner. She is going to find a way out because she has to, and she has to for her son.
I thought you used the perfect word there. It's such an unexpected show because you hear about it and it's like, okay, there are mobsters, and people are being killed. Yes, to clean that up. But really, although there is action, it's a family story. It's an immigrant story. How did you, in developing the show, find that balance between like the action parts and the intimate kind of family elements?
Well, I've always been inspired by Breaking Bad, and I wanted to do a female Breaking Bad, but from the voice of an Asian character. And so that aspect of having a crime drama and a thriller and having all that action is something I've always wanted to do, but also tell a show and a story with a lot of heart. To have people really identify with these characters and have compassion for them. And that's one of the most important elements of the story, of telling a story with marginalized voices and people who are normally pushed into the shadows, who don't get the attention or recognition that they deserve. And, being able to have an audience and a really broad audience understand that we are all people, that we are all facing challenges in our lives. We all have, at the same time, we all have our hopes and dreams, and we all want the best for our families. And so this is a way to infuse all those themes and issues into something that's exciting. And so it's like a bit of a Trojan horse, right? To be able to tell these stories and have these characters in this exciting drama. So I hope that is what is coming through. And, it's what makes the show fun, is to have all these elements combined and take you through both the crazy journey of, this cleaning lady working for the mob, but at the same time, tell a story that really impacts people and gets people to care about her and what she's going through.
Yeah, and I 100% think that the show does a great job of really making you care about Elodie's character Tony and her family, Martha. Um, I feel like Martha and Elodie, that relationship really has been incredibly strong. The chemistry between them is amazing. How early did you know that we have something special here between the two?
Oh, absolutely. From the moment they met, Élodie was kind enough to say, oh, let me do some chemistry reads for when we had our callbacks with our last few choices. And it was over Zoom. And you could see their connection right there on screen. It was amazing that you saw the two windows and they just bonded instantly. And then after that, Élodie called all of us and said, well, it's Martha, right? It has to be Martha. I love Martha. It has to be Martha, right? And we said, yes, we just have to go through the steps to get all the approvals. And of course, everyone loved Martha. I mean, she is also incredible and brings so much heart and joy and, everything to the character as well. And honestly, their relationship is really the heart of the show and the core of the show. And every time we turn in a script, the network is like, okay, but how can we have more Tony and Fiona? Like, let's make sure we have their story, because, they're going to take different paths. They're going to have different stories and trajectories. But, we keep bringing them together because that's the story that, a lot of people are really coming back for. And that's the relationship that we're all rooting for as well, because there's secrets being kept between each of them, and those secrets can threaten to tear that relationship apart. But of course, it's never that easy, right? There's always going to be challenges in relationships, but because they love each other so much, they're going to be able to pull through.
I totally see that too, because I'm glad you talked about the love is where it all comes from, and yet this show is very layered. It's their relationships are layered with each other. They really seem like sisters, but not like TV sisters where everything is neat. There's a lot of complicated elements of that. How important was it for you to show the Southeast Asian women, the Southeast Asian family, as multi-layered and complex characters?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, although we've had Asian characters on screen before, sometimes we don't get to really delve in to the depths of their characters and the layers. And the thing is, we are all multifaceted. We are all multi-layered. And so that was a very important aspect to show, especially as the first show on network television that features a Filipino-Cambodian family at the core. Is to show that, we're not, we all are different. We all have different qualities, and yet at the heart, we're all the same. We're all people trying to survive and trying to do the best for our families. So I think it was important. There's a great responsibility actually to have a show that is the first show featuring a Southeast Asian family, and part of that is to show the multi dimensions of each character. So that was very important to us for sure.
I definitely appreciate that. I mean, that's the basis a lot of my site and the work that we cover, that it's so important for that to be out there. And you, Martha, Élodie, everybody, I feel like in the publicity, the marketing of this show have been unapologetic about what this show is about and how important the representation is. What I've really been impressed about is Fox also seems like in their marketing, in the commercials and teasers and such, they seem to be all in on that. Could you talk a little bit about like working with them to put that out there, and if there have been any challenges or anything like that in terms of saying, hey, this is Southeast Asian show, this is what we're about?
Honestly, they have been fully on board with that from the beginning. I initially pitched having a Southeast Asian lead to Warner Brothers, and again, they embraced it. They said, let's go with that. This was actually adapting the Argentine format was originally what's called an open writing assignment. So I had a blind script deal at Warner Brothers, which is a development deal. And so I pitched a few ideas, they pitched a few to me, and I decided I wanted to adapt The Cleaning Lady with with, you know, a Southeast Asian lead, and they said, let's go for it, let's do that. And so we developed the pitch for 5 months together before we took it out. And initially, you know, I thought that I would pitch this as a cable or streaming show, because that would, you know, in my mind, would be the more likely path to getting it made. And Warner Brothers actually said, you know what, there is a much greater appetite, an audience right now for different perspectives and different marginalized voices and stories that we haven't seen. So let's pitch it to network. And I was like, okay, like, I don't want to change too much about this story, but, you know, let's do it, let's pitch it. And Fox was the very first pitch, and they scooped it up immediately. And they again were excited, because they said, this is a show that we've never had a show like this on television, that combines all these elements, to have a Southeast Asian family, to have all these themes about immigration and undocumented immigrants, and the struggles that they face, all wrapped into like a, you know, a crime drama set in Vegas with, you know, all the sort of the glitz and glam and the fun that brings. And so they were fully on board and embraced this. And they said that, yeah, this is, you know, an extremely exciting project. We've never had anything like it. And they honestly, they fully got behind it. And when they picked up the show for a pilot, it was actually the first drama that they picked up that year. And they said, you know, we recognize that we will probably have to find 2 lesser known talents to play Tony and Fiona. And we are so excited to do that, and to put these unrepresented voices on screen, and to find, you know, actors that can portray characters we've never seen. So yeah, I can't say that there were a lot of challenges, because they embraced it completely.
That's really incredible, frankly, to hear. I mean, we are in an era where there is a greater push for diversity, thank goodness. But as we all know, there's sometimes lip service, and then there's actually, you know, following through. And I'd love to hear your behind the scenes experience, because it really seems like they supported you. And you've talked about your, you know, being able to cast who you cast and all that. But you yourself, how incredible is it to be an Asian woman running a network show like this? How much of you and your personal background and experience is in this story? You said you picked this, so it must be very personal for you.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. There's a lot in it. I mean, I immigrated from Canada. You know, it's, you know, my family immigrated from China to Canada, and so you know, it was really important to me to tell a story about the challenges that immigrants do face. And when you have no resources, when you're disregarded, when you're treated like a second-class citizen, and also, like, how do you face those challenges? And so what I wanted to do was really tell a story of empowerment from a character who starts with nothing and is able to basically rise above all the obstacles and create her own path and set her own boundaries and not allow herself to be silenced. So I think these are all the themes that were really important to me, and that I faced in my own life, that I really wanted to bring to the character. And you know, I think it was honestly overwhelming for me when the show got picked up. And it actually, you know, there's all the excitement of, oh, there's this, you know, we're getting a show, and you know, all the hard work and the years of development into this is finally coming to fruition. But it actually really hit me a couple days later of how important this show is. And that is actually when it really struck me of like, oh my God, like the fact that this show is getting made is the thing to celebrate. And the fact that, you know, there are so many people out there who you know, are still in the shadows, who aren't seen or don't feel seen, and you know, don't get the limelight, don't get the spotlight. And being able to put those kinds of characters at the forefront of the show, you know, that's really what had such a great impact on me. And I do feel like a huge responsibility to tell a story that is going to be authentic and to resonate with many different communities.
I appreciate that so much. And I think your passion and your vision really comes through about how important these stories are. And that is the joy of the show, and so great. My last question for you is, hopefully we get many more seasons of The Cleaning Lady. Do you have in your head, like, how, from a story perspective, like how many seasons you'd like it at least to go? And what else is next for you if there's other things you would like to work on?
Well, yes, we would love to actually obviously tell many seasons of this story and continue to follow their journeys. I mean, as in the development of the story and in the writer's room, we have so many amazing, talented writers who have also brought ideas and generate a lot of stories. And there's only so many stories you can tell in a 10-episode arc. So we definitely have a lot more stories to tell with all of our characters. I mean, there's so much we also wanted to tell with, like, with Sean Liu's character and Faith Bryant's character of Chris and Jazz, and the struggles they face, Chris's journey as well, and finding out the secrets that have been kept from him. So there's, I think, a lot more, there's definitely a lot more story to tell, and we would love to have the opportunity to tell it. And, it's so amazing that we've had this incredible support from the community and just in general that, it's so hard to get people to watch TV on a network show live with commercials. And, the fact that we got that we got such a huge audience, everybody is thrilled about. And we're now the highest rated drama premiere on Fox in 2 years, and that speaks volumes for what the audience is looking for and what they want. So hopefully that those numbers can translate into another season and many more seasons after that.
Definitely, we need to see it. This show is 100% worth the commercials, which is saying a lot in this era. Miranda, congratulations. It's really a wonderful show, and I really appreciate speaking with you.
Thank you so much, Ron. Great speaking with you as well.